Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Blue Wave and specifically the Calm Before the Storm. This is your host, TJ. And it's been a while. It's been, we had an international break in between, so nothing really to do last Friday. But here we are. And I'm back to preview our first West London derby of the season against Brentford, away to Brentford. I'm joined by one of my great co-hosts, Andrew, at the Winter Surfer. Andrew, how are you doing, man, today?
I'm great, TJ. Yeah, pleasure to be on your show, part of the Blue Wave as well. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Should be, my mind's racing. Obviously, we'll talk about it. I'm very intrigued by tomorrow's game. Very intrigued.
Oh, for sure. It's looking like it's going to be a pretty interesting game. Obviously,
Yes.
Brentford. I keep saying Brighton, man. Brentford so far, they're looking like a pretty good team so far. They're in the top half of the table, newly promoted side, of course. They're playing great football as well.
Yes.
Plenty to be excited about, and they're scoring goals as well. So it's going to be an interesting game tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it. I want to dive in straight away. Talking about Brentford a bit. We got there are some people who may not even know who they are because they're brand new to the league. In fact, the last time we've played them in a league game was way back in 1947, pretty much before all of our times. 1947.
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
Unreal. So, I don't know how much you've been watching them so far, but what can you tell some of our viewers about what can we expect from Brentford? How's their season going so far?
I think they couldn't have asked for a better start, really. They are the unknown. I think they're the one team that no coach or no one scouted properly. It's sort of like a bit like a Sheffield United a couple of years ago. Everyone knows a bit what Norwich are going to do, Watford are going to do. They've been up and down the past few years. Brentford's the one that no one knows about. Now, if they survive this season, will they find out next season? We'll go on. But I think they play very good football and they've been very deserving of their results. Brilliant last result away against West Ham. Unbelievable result, 2-1 victory. That game, thanks to that game against Liverpool, where they exposed the right, all 3 goals, and also exposed the fact that Klopp didn't know what to do during that game. I think they've been a real credit, an absolute real credit, and it should be some atmosphere tomorrow. I think it's going to be louder. It's going to put Anfield to shame. Our fans are going to hear that crowd tomorrow, unlike at Anfield. They're going to hear them. But they play good football. Absolutely. They're good. I like them in the league. I'd rather have them in the league than, say, Burnley or something like that. That's for sure.
No, you're absolutely spitting facts right now. They've looked really, really fun to watch so far this season. I mean, 3-3 against Liverpool, who are on fire this season so far. They held the Liverpool team to a draw, which is an incredible achievement in my opinion, as well as beating Arsenal, as well as winning some other of their games. They've only lost once so far. So considering their newly promoted team, and especially the team they didn't even win the championship or anything. They won the playoffs. So they were like that, in one of the top 6 kind of thing. They're doing really well so far. And you also mentioned a good point. They're not those usual like Norwich, West Brom, Watford, those teams that are up and down. Everybody knows what they're about. We saw with Sheffield, we saw even with Huddersfield in their first league, in their first season back in 17-18.
Yeah.
They barely survived, but they started really well that season. I do remember. Yeah. And because nobody knew what to expect of them, and everybody underestimated them. Same with Sheffield. They ended up finishing top half in 1920. And then now so far Brentford are doing really good. So massive credit to them. And yeah, I agree. It's going to be a massive, massive game tomorrow. I hope our fans bring it with their voices. They will. Our away fans are some of the best in the league.
Yeah, the away fans at any support are always the loudest. They're the hardcore. They're the hardcore. When I say hardcore, not like in a bad way, but they're like the ones who never stop.
Oh, absolutely.
They never stop.
No. Even all the controversies of the TV sounds like being dimmed or something like that. Like, yeah, I always hear it like when I'm watching games on the TV, and it's really good to see. But yeah, unfortunately for us though, we have a suspect on the watch in this game. We have none other than our favorite ref in the league, Anthony Taylor, officiating tomorrow from the middle. I don't know why we're getting him again. We've gotten him so many times in the past season or so. And we have a terrible record with him officiating our games as well. I'm beginning to become frustrated and speechless at this point with him.
I don't want us to be sad because we're starting to sound like Arsenal fans, when they're like they send out who the referee is during the thing, and also I'm very hesitant to. I always, if a referee's done something so blatant, then I will go there. But I always think that what could we have done better, stuff like that. Everyone goes, oh yeah, we sent off Reece James. I thought, listen, whether you agree or not, he sent off Reece James. It was an option, and he chose that option. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just think we need to make sure we don't give the weak people sometimes in our support an option to bag on Anthony Taylor and mask any disappointing performances from their favourite players, something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
I'd rather go, okay, well, Anthony Taylor did this, okay, but why didn't player A, B, and C do this? Why didn't he pass to him? Why didn't he shoot? Why was he defending like that?
Yeah.
So I understand that, and I don't know Anthony Taylor anyway. He's not. I don't think he's a good referee, not only for us, just in general. We saw in the Nations League final. I don't know. That's why English refs don't go to World Cups.
Yeah.
At the moment, do you know what I mean? I think Anthony Taylor proved it, but yeah, I understand that it will be. Listen, no, all the Chelsea fans, everything is going to be tomorrow. Why did he given that? Stuff like that. There will be something. There's bound to be something. If the law of averages says there's bound to be something where he gets a decision wrong, like a player gets sent off or a penalty or something like that, or or maybe against us, like Brentford's player should have got a second yellow card or something like that, or we should have had a penalty. But I'd rather go. You know what? I'd rather think that we're Chelsea. We shouldn't have to have a reason of Anthony Taylor for losing to Brentford. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
It should be like how the first. If we lose to Brentford tomorrow, it should be how the hell did Chelsea lose to Brentford?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And then context will be supplied there. So.
No, absolutely, and that's of course what we want. But I totally agree with what you're saying. I think the reason why a lot of us are a little bit pissed off about him at the moment is because you mentioned you don't want Anthony Taylor to take the spotlight from why we lose or if we.
Oh, he will. Trust me, he will.
Oh,
he will
course.
do something. Yeah.
But your point of being like you want us to focus on why did we lose and not because of the ref, because the ref does one thing but the team does another thing.
Yeah.
I think if I'm going to take two quite recent examples. One being the red card for Kovacic in the FA Cup final recently.
Yeah.
And then the Reece James red card. So the FA Cup final, before the red card happened or the second yellow, we were actually playing awful. We didn't deserve to win that game with or without the red card. And that's where it absolutely makes perfect sense. And unfortunately, what you don't want to happen, that exactly happened, is the red card made us create excuses rather than blaming the team's performance. However, with the Liverpool game, I thought we were very good in the first half, aside from a bit of we could have maybe scored one or two more. We just messed up some counterattacks. But the actual team performance was great. The red card plus the penalty changed everything. And then the whole second half, we had to defend for our lives. So it honestly made for a great performance in the second half. But in that kind of situation, it felt like almost like we didn't do anything necessarily wrong. We were winning the game. We were doing everything we needed to do. And then we got shot in the foot kind of thing. But yeah, it always depends. And that's the most recent example. So that's what's fixated in our heads at the moment.
Yeah,
but
I can understand that.
But no, your point makes perfect sense. And you know what? Tomorrow, I'm just hoping nothing controversial happens because I want a fair game. And if it means if a fair game means we win or we lose, then that's fine.
But yeah, exactly. I think if anything does controversial, I want it controversial where it doesn't cost us 3 points.
Exactly.
You know what I mean, we're like 2 or 3-0 up, and someone gets sent off that didn't deserve to get sent off, that controversial way, or we should have had a penalty or something like that, but it doesn't really affect the scoreline itself.
Exactly.
That's what I want. That's what I don't want it to be. God damn it, because we know exactly what's going to be. Probably even when we do our review, either tomorrow, whenever this weekend we do it, it's going to be like, God damn, Anthony Taylor. It'll probably be in our thumbnail. Anthony Taylor will probably be in our thumbnail if it happens. But I just like, and when it comes to these types of games, we shouldn't have to think of a referee excuse like against Brentford, even though they're unknown. Whereas like Liverpool or the FA Cup final, you can go, it's a massive game. So even in your Liverpool one, like you just said yourself, we should have scored another goal at least before the red card or something. Like we should have been better decision making on the day or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's one of those. It's I'm sure we're all rational now, but as soon as we get in the game, as soon as he gives his first mistake, we are going. I'm going to be all over him. I'm going to say he's doing it again. He's already started. I'm going to be irrational because I'm a football fan. So that's what happens. So.
And that's why I do these previews. The calm before the storm. We're rational. Yeah. We're just calm. We're chill.
Yeah.
And then I leave the hot-headed stuff for the rest of the weekend.
Exactly. We'll leave for the review.
Exactly.
So myself, Jay, and John will be on there. Go, Anthony Taylor. He's done it again.
Oh, it'd be great. It'd be great to watch for sure. But yeah. And also, just before I carry on, just as always, want to check in with the chat. Thank you guys all for joining us so far today. Thank you for all the interactions so far. Subs, love you as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And keep the comments buzzing. Keep some comments coming in, questions, whatever. We'll try to get to a few questions at the end of the segment, as always. But thank you guys all for the interactions. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. And you guys know the rest. But enough about Brentford and our official. Onto our team now. It's been a while since we've seen the boys. I'm really excited to see them tomorrow. However, a bit of injury news for those who haven't heard yet. Thiago Silva and Antonio Rudiger are both out for tomorrow, injured. Not great. However, thankfully, we have good center back depth. So, but the fact that we're losing two of our starting center backs just it does feel like a dagger to the heart. But one, sure, but two, it's a bit much. But we do still have the depth. It's going to be more. I'm a bit worried looking forward to the next week in terms of how long it takes them to recover. So I'm hoping it's just this game. As well, Ziyech and Pulisic are also out. Ziyech was kind of unknown until today, and Pulisic, well, he's been out forever. Don't know when he's going to come back. But any quick comments on that?
Is Thiago Silva injured or is it a travelling issue? Is it injury or is it travelling? Because I know they played last night, didn't they, Brazil?
You know what?
I think it's more of a travelling issue. They can't get him back in on time.
Right. I saw out. I didn't see whether it's specified injury.
Yeah, I think
I would assume it's traveling,
but I don't think he'd be playing anyway with the traveling. I don't know what the situation is, whether he has to isolate or something. I don't think he does, but I mean, it looks. You know why it looks bad? Because we play three at the back, so it looks like loads of them are out. If we played like four, we probably wouldn't see that bad because we'd go, oh, okay, well, we've got another three in there. It'll be very interesting because I think we're going to play back three. Obviously, I see people and I don't pay attention much to Twitter anyway, but I see people, oh yes, perfect chance to play four, and I'm thinking to myself, you guys scoff when me or someone else mentions, oh, let's see Rudiger or Christian in back four because I just want to see it. But you guys are okay playing Christensen and Chalobah in a back four. It's maybe not, but I presume the back three is going to be Christensen, Chalobah, and Azpilicueta.
Yeah.
And does that mean that Chalobah plays on the left, or does Azpilicueta play on the left? I'm not 100% sure. So, and then I don't know about the Reece James news. Is he fit to play? I presume so because he didn't say he was out. But this is why you get a big squad, TJ. You get a big squad to handle this. So you get so Thiago Silva can't play this game. He'll probably be back for Malmo. So we won't miss Rudiger as much if Rudiger can't make Malmo. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like maybe now people might go, maybe we should have pushed the extra few million for Koundé or got that deal wrapped up as quickly because then we can just pop, okay, well, we got Koundé, that's fine. But it's one of those things. It's happened before. That's what big squads, we're not Liverpool, we're down to the bare bones. You know what I mean? That's why we got a big squad. So it happens like that. So
exactly.
And Ziyech, I'm not fussed about. I'm done with Ziyech. And you know what? Don't update me if Pulisic is injured. Just update me when he's fit. Because we already know he's injured.
Oh man, you already know next preview where he says he's back. I'm gonna flood everything with alerts, everything. We're gonna make the show about him. But
he's back.
Yeah, no, I think you summed it up well. That's the thing. If it was Liverpool, they lost Matip and Van Dijk, then you saw what happened to them middle of last season. They were gone. It's crazy to think that despite us losing our two most senior center backs, we still have Azpilicueta and Christensen, who usually start every week anyways.
Yes.
Silva and Christensen usually like alternate almost all the time.
Exactly.
And even Chalobah's, he has had a few has started games here and there, so they're all ready, which is why I'm not too worried. I think
no, I'm not.
The slightest worry would be Chalobah maybe at left center back. We haven't seen him yet, but I think he'll do fine. He's a versatile player.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that's our center back. That's our center back selection done. We're both in agreement on that.
Because I can't think of anyone. I can't think of anyone else really, unless they unless they do a real switch, put Reece at right centre back and put Cho at right wing back or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Which they could do. They could do because they could do to then have one of those guys, like have Chalobah on the bench, just in case. They could do that. Well, what I'm saying is that they could put a swerve, put Reece at left or something like that, and then or put Reece right, Azpilicueta at left, and then have Chalobah on the bench just for insurance and play Cho at right wing back.
That's true.
Could happen.
So with Thomas Tuchel, you never know, to be honest.
Exactly. No one can predict a lineup because he pulls like 2 or 3 swerves out of somewhere where you go, okay, and then you move on.
No, you bet. So that's pretty straightforward, to be honest, for that for the back three. I'm hoping it'll work out tomorrow because I have a strong feeling that's what it's going to be. It makes logical sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, wing backs now. We've obviously seen Alonso start most of the games this season. Chilwell finally started a game against Southampton. Up and down game, but overall definitely more positives than not. With a goal, but also a conceded penalty. Alonso's starting to look, he starts the season really well, and he's starting to look more off the pace every game. Yeah. So that's a tough one for me again. I don't know who'd you start right now, especially because Chilwell both of them went for international break, played quite a few games.
I would just play Chilwell. I would just play Chilwell as much as possible, like in the league. Alonso, as you say, Alonso is great, and I don't know how he does it, but people always still like some people back Alonso. He played well when he plays well 3 out of like 7 games or something, but the reputation of those 3 games is somehow more important than they were, and he still lives in them. If you remember, like under Tuchel, he came back against Burnley and scored that goal against Burnley. And played crap for the rest of the season, but everyone was still like, "Oh yeah, but he played well in that game against Burnley." It's the same this season. It's like I think he's played no doubt he has played well this season.
Yeah,
you have to hold your hands up and say, if you're being objective, he has played well, but I'm sorry, man. Chilwell for me is just an all-round better player. Even at left wing back, I think he's better because he crosses. Alonso doesn't cross, apart from corners. He just doesn't cross, and I think we're going to need Chilwell's pace tomorrow. So I would play him. But then, if he chooses Alonso, would it surprise me? No.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it's not. I guess it's not going to be the worst thing if he does play, but it's just starting to look like it's a bit much. You know what? What it is with him is I feel like when he gets an extended period out of the team for a bit, and then he comes back in and he's fresh, he actually looks phenomenal. But he cannot. I feel like once he plays 2, 3, 4 games in a row, it just gets worse and worse each time. Whereas Chilwell, you get that consistency with him. He plays to a decently high level almost every game. And that's what ensures me better.
Alonso's like that. Alonso's like that. It's sort of like your phone that you just don't want to get rid of or something like that. You keep charging it. You know what I mean? You can only charge it up to a certain amount. It won't go above 100. It won't go to 100 anymore. It'll go to like 50, but it's going to run out in like 2 hours if you keep using it or something like that. It's very weird. I don't know how he does it. He has this he has that Men in Black thing. It's like look into this and mind swipe like that. It's amazing how he does it. But it's one of those. It will happen again this season. It will happen again.
For sure. It's inevitable. He is inevitable as a person and a player. Yep. And one other thing, because you mentioned he doesn't cross. What he does do that Chilwell doesn't, which occasionally is a good thing, but I feel this season it's hindered our attack more often than not, is because of his size and the way he kind of just makes run into the box. He's almost like that second striker when the ball's on the right side of the field. He's running in like the far post runs and being that second striker, where usually it's actually Kai Havertz who occupies that second striker position with Lukaku. And usually it works out well because that's the kind of player Kai Havertz is. But once you have Alonso taking that position, it forces Kai to move farther back, and when he moves farther back, he's not as effective in terms of like the build-up and stuff. So all around, and additionally to that, just when him and Alonso play together, like left wing back and left wing, I've never really seen good chemistry between them.
No, there's more, especially if like a Mount plays on the left, which I think he's better on the right anyway. But sometimes when plays on the left, there's more. There would be, because they're probably mates on and off the pitch. There's more stuff with Chilwell there. I just think Chilwell you saw a bit even with Cho against Southampton. He's sort of making the runs like actually against Southampton, he's more making runs inward than he was outward. So he's like sort of like overlapping inward.
Exactly.
So, I was reading a report like some was like trying to invent inverted wing backs or something like that, which is weird. But he can do that. Alonso, as we all know, just looks slow no matter what. I mean, he looks faster in action replay than he does in real life. It's one of those. My preference is always going to be Chilwell. Alonso can do a job every now and again, and I know he's better at left wing back, but I just think Chilwell just offers more. And people's like, oh, well, Alonso will score. Well, Chilwell can do that. If you saw that goal against Southampton, I know it was nearly a great save, but the technique to actually hit that ball like that, he's got that. And I'm done for Alonso right now. He'll probably play against, if he doesn't play tomorrow, he'll play against Malmo or something like that. But I think he needs a recharge, essentially.
Yeah. A little rest, a little relaxation.
Yeah. Rotation.
Mm-hmm. The usual. But yeah, onto the right-hand side now, a little bit more of a debate as usual. I think, so Reece James is back. Normally, I'm always, Azpilicueta is also in a shout for that position. He's played there recently. However, obviously, we're going to need him at center back, I think, for tomorrow, based on the injuries and absences. So yeah, it's gonna be between Reece and Hudson-Odoi. I mean, both of them have been playing a little decent. Reece has been out injured for a bit. Hudson-Odoi's gotten a couple more chances recently. I'm not his biggest fan at right wing back for Hudson-Odoi, but I am a huge fan of him. So seeing him on the pitch always makes me happy. So it's a tough one for me. I'd personally go Reece James. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are.
Yes, because I think they would try and target us like they did Liverpool if Cho played there, down the left hand side. I think they try and do the same game plan because Cho's not the greatest, and I'm probably being fair in saying that, defensively. So there would be holes there. I would prefer Reece James there, to be honest with you. But that thing I brought up about maybe like him playing one of the centre backs, I only just thought of while we're doing the stream, because it's like if you play all of them, I don't know who you have on the bench apart from maybe Alonso or Chilwell as defensive cover. So it's like one of those. Be interesting to see. Be interested to see what Tuchel's managed to scout about Brentford and how they play. Who he thinks is going to be best at right wing back, whether it's going to be Cho or whether it's going to be Reece James. Reece James is coming back from injury as well. He hasn't played for 3 weeks,
mm-hmm.
three and a half weeks, something like that. So
yeah,
put him in. Cho again did not go to under 21s because he chose to stay back. Again, do you reward him? And then is it a reward if he plays right wing back? I don't know if it is for Cho. So it's one of those. You can see either or, which doesn't help when we're discussing it, but you can see it either or playing. I prefer Reece though to play there.
Yeah, preference would be Reece. However, if it is true because I think he got injured against first half against Man City. Been out since then. It's been a while now. Freshness levels will be quite down. Hudson-Odoi, especially considering he stayed back and trained with the players who didn't leave, he would be a lot. And then, so Reece would be my ultimate choice, but I feel like I think Tuchel's going to keep him on the bench to start.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because we don't have a lot of. If you leave Alonso Chilwell, they're the only ones of defensive cover on the bench. So if you leave Reece on the bench because one thing's only come back, he can cover 2 positions, one of the centre backs and one of the right wing back. So probably does make sense to do that. So it'd be interesting to see, but Tuchel can decide that. He's usually good at assessing injuries and when to bring people back when they're ready to bring back. So
for sure, he's not one to rush them back.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but moving on to the midfield now, which I feel has opened up quite a bit now in terms of starting berths.
Yes.
We got Jorginho, we've got Conte. Conte's back from COVID now. He's looking pretty sharp, as we've seen in training videos. Kovacic has had a brilliant start to the season, in my opinion. And now with the emergence of Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Saul and Barkley, who are also kind of poor Saul. He's gotten a bit unlucky so far, but he hasn't really played that well yet. But
it's hardly played.
Yeah, exactly. And again, regarding him quickly, I don't want to delve too much into him, but I understand why we signed him, and I actually I love the player, and I'm glad we signed him. It's just that timing of Barkley and Loftus-Cheek coming into form at the same time, and him being terrible in the first couple of games is just terrible luck there. But it's a long season; you never know what can happen.
No, I agree. Barkley is a lot like Alonso for me. He has like a streak of like 5 or 6 games and then doing something, and then I think it gets to him because I don't think he's got the mentality to play for a big club. I think he goes. Ruben, listen, I've been proved wrong. My only doubts with Ruben were could he remove the injury from his mind, and really push it down, and it looks like he's doing it. He's very good on the ball. He's very progressive. He's aggressive with his progression as well. He's very powerful. I don't know if he'll start though tomorrow. I think he'll go tried and trusted. I think he'll go Jorginho and Kante in the middle. I think he'll go tried and trusted. And I think that Ruben will be on the bench and he'll be brought on. But Ruben's moved himself up through the options.
Absolutely.
So I think he's above Saul in the options.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So it's nice to see, because I don't want anyone to get anything wrong. It's not as if I don't rate Ruben. I'm just, with his injuries, I just didn't know whether he was going to get over it himself.
Right.
So
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree with you. I think Ruben has had a really good start to the season. I think he's still in that section where he's just below Kante, Georgie, and Kovacic. But he's making a case for himself. Tuchel clearly likes him, and he's getting good chances. And I don't think he has to be worried. It's just going to be slightly less than the others. But yeah. I would definitely start Conte tomorrow. We've needed him, and against a really high energy Brentford, he's going to be a brilliant asset to have in our midfield. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, like I said, he'll probably come on in the second half for fresh legs. Stretching that team when they're getting tired in the end. Jorginho or Kovacic, if we're playing Conte, I'd probably play Jorginho next to him, as I'm still not a fan of seeing Conte, Kovacic next to each other. They don't always work out very well.
No. Who's going to be the most disciplined one out of them, because they're both ball progressors.
Exactly.
In a sense. So I prefer Jorginho to start tomorrow and then sort of like rest probably against Malmo or something like that. Then you can play whoever against Malmo. That's what I mean. I'd play a strongest lineup possible that he can play.
Exactly.
Whoever he thinks is strongest in his own lineup to play tomorrow, and then sort of rotate against Malmo on Tuesday or Wednesday, one of those 2 days. So
And then it would make sense. Malmo, we could play, for example, Kovacic, Loftus-Cheek. Maybe even I might even throw Saul in there, give him a chance again, because I think you never know.
Yeah, exactly. You can do a whole rotation, bring Thiago Silva and play Alonso Chilwell, play Reece James, something like that. You rotate the midfield, Kovacic, Loftus-Cheek or Saul or something like that. Yeah, you can do a whole rotation. Obviously, he's not going to do go mad and do 8 or 9 rotations, because we still need to win that game.
Of course.
We lost the last one against Juventus. But I think tomorrow he goes with his strongest lineup, because I tell you, Brentford are the most unpredictable team in this league. I think Brentford are most unpredictable. Don't know what they're going to do. And the atmosphere tomorrow as well is going to be something.
It's going to be cracking. The game is going to be really high tempo. And just before, so obviously, we want our strongest lineup. And just before I finish off with the strikers and midfielders, once again, guys, keep it coming in the comments. Thank you guys all so much for the interactions. Those of you like C1 London, thank you so much for all the questions and stuff. We're going to get to those at the end. So just be patient. We will get to your questions at the end. Keep on bringing them in. And we love the interactions. Thank you guys so much. Keep on liking, commenting, and subscribe to the channel. And strikers, Lukaku, if he's fit and he's available, which I think he is, no brainer. Yeah. Who are you partnering with him for the other two positions?
It's so strange because I would have gone with, without the injuries in defence, I would have gone with the same three who started against Southampton. I would have gone with Werner on the right and Cho on the left.
Right.
Because I just thought, listen, Cho wasn't outstanding against Southampton. Didn't have his best game with him, but I thought something was there. And I thought with Ziyech out of form and injured and just not good, Pulisic injured, and whether we like it or not, and people don't maybe not like it, Mount is not playing well so far this season. In my opinion, I don't think he's in any form, which is okay for him to do. He's a young player and he's played a lot of football. Talk about Mount, he's played nearly 120 games for Chelsea already. So, but I thought Cho, and people are like, oh yeah, but he's brought off early against Southampton, but that was a tactical thing by the Southampton manager. But I would have gone with that. But with this debate over whether Reece James starts tomorrow or not, it's like he's going to put Cho at right wing back. So he probably will start Mount tomorrow. Looking at it, Mount's got to play himself out of this form. I like Werner. I liked Werner on the right against Southampton. I thought he did well, more than on the left. I know he probably likes to play on the left because he can cut inside, but I thought he looked better on the right. I just want to see if that can happen again as well. But the elephant in the room is they have to get service to Lukaku. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. Exactly. They have to change their game and connect to Lukaku better.
For sure.
So I think those three will start, especially if Cho plays right wing back. If not, I think I would like to see Cho start on the left. So.
No, for sure. I do agree. I would go, Timo Werner, Mason Mount. I do see like how they do dominate certain sides sometimes, but whenever I'm watching them, I always feel they're so fluid. They're never actually picking a side. I'll sometimes see Mount on the left for a little bit, Team on the right, switch them around a bit. But yeah, generally we did see Team on the right for large parts of the first half. Obviously, Mount came on in the second half against Southampton and took over that position. But yeah, no, Timo Werner looked really positive last game. He had a very good international break as well. Scored a brace against North Macedonia. Mason Mount as well. He did play a few games. He hasn't really gotten too many. He hasn't gotten goals, maybe 1 or 2 assists so far this season. He started slowly, but I thought against Southampton, he really that rest did him good, and he did very, very well. Helped us change the game.
He had a good game. Yeah, that we got fortunate in one way with the red card, and then it's sort of like we adapt. Southampton couldn't adapt to the red card, and that's when you got players in our team, so you give them a one-man advantage. That's what a red card's supposed to do. The better team is supposed to then take advantage of which we did. The thing is like I don't see Mount as an attacking player like that. Do you know what I mean? I see him like dropping a bit deeper. I think he does his best work in the midfield three. Yeah. But see, because then the onus of creation is not on him, and I don't think it should be. We should be having Ziyech should be stepping up. We should be talking about Ziyech being our most creative player. He should be. We should be talking about Cho being a creative player. We should be talking about Havertz. Well, he's not really, but talking about Pulisic or something like that.
Yeah.
Mount will do good, but if he's in the attacking positions, he's got to be better. All of them actually. Even Lukaku has to be better decision making. All of them have to be better, and they have to start racking up these assists or goals as well, moving forward, because we struggle at the moment to do anything. So,
no, absolutely, I do agree. It's going to be a tough one, but I believe, based on I really have a strong feeling that this game is going to be an open game tomorrow. I hope it is. Both teams pressing high, winning the ball in dangerous areas. even possession share, both teams, a lot of shots. That's what I'm hoping for. I would assume that could be the case based on the way both teams play. And yeah, ultimately, yeah, how many chances can we create for Lukaku? And ultimately, will he find the back of the net tomorrow? Because we need him to score at some point again. It's been it's been a bit of a dry run for him. We know he can score. I don't think he's been utilized properly in the past couple of games. Also hasn't had the greatest support. But I'm not too worried. It should be okay, in my opinion.
Yeah. Hopefully, bag a couple of goals, get back in form league-wise, and then move on from there. You
betcha. Now, earlier in the comments, some of the guys were talking about. C1 London. Thank you again so much. Made a really good point. Back to Brentford for a second. Their striker partnership, Ivan Toney and Mbuemo. I'm doing my best, guys. Their strike partnership can definitely cause us some problems, especially with the makeshift backline. Not so much makeshift, but more second string rather. On top of all their high energy pressing, any other dangerous players. I know they play with wing backs as well. Sergi Canos or something like that.
I don't know if he's fit, but I like the look of Pinnock. And he's in my fantasy team, so he's got me a lot of points. So he's been. I think he went off injured the last game. Was it last game before or something like that? He went off injured. I don't know if he's back. But I like the look of him. Otherwise, I watched Brentford, but apart from Ivan Toney and Pinnock, I don't know all of their names. So I'm like going, oh yeah, I watched Brentford, but I paid no attention to who was who or anything like that. I just go, wow, like even when they score, like I can't even remember the name. You know, unless it's like Ivan Toney, it's like, oh okay, Brentford are doing well. But listen, they obviously that will change if this keeps going. You know, you're going to have to people are going to be say, oh yeah, well Brentford are doing well because this player. I think they are a dangerous team tomorrow.
Yeah,
they're a dangerous team. They're unpredictable. So I think you know what was good about this international break? That Tuchel's had 2 weeks to look at Brentford. He's had 2 weeks to focus on Brentford. Because there's no way, including himself, that he would have spent a long period of time looking at Brentford. There's just no way whatsoever any manager's done that. I mean, Klopp hasn't done it. We know Arteta didn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. And, so it's like one good thing about the international break was that he's had plenty of time to go, okay, well, I know what they did against Liverpool. I know I know who I want to play in the right wing back, stuff like that. But it's going to be, I think even still tomorrow, there'll be something there that will surprise Tuchel that he's not even seeing them do.
Oh, you
There's
betcha.
something there. Yeah.
You betcha. Because similarly, on the other side, Thomas Frank, manager of Brentford, has also had 2 weeks to analyze Chelsea. Most teams, obviously, Chelsea being better known to the football world, they'll have a better idea of how we play. But when you get that 2 weeks of absolutely nothing to just look at the team, Chelsea are such a hard team to break down.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of time. Let's work this out. And they're gonna have some tricks up their sleeves.
Especially now that Thiago Silva and Rudiger are out.
Oh yeah.
Rudiger and Thiago Silva are out, then even more. Yeah. And
then of course, I mean, we didn't talk about keeper because I'm assuming we're both Mendy in to start, but you never know what's going on tomorrow.
Not even
unless
it's an injury.
Exactly.
Mendy played. The only reason Mendy's not playing is injury or his African Cup of Nations.
Yeah.
That's the only way he's not playing in goal this season.
You bet. Maybe the odd Carabao Cup game as well.
Yeah, in the league. Yeah, in the league he'll play. He'll play most of the games.
But yeah, one of my fears about the international break, rather than Brighton or the ref or anything like that. Sorry, Brighton. I keep saying Brighton. Is again, when you think about international breaks, it's usually you're going to have a higher volume of players from the bigger teams going on the international break. Chelsea, we have about probably 10 to 15 of our players on international break every single time. Very limited number of players who stay behind a column to train. Yep. With Brentford, you almost don't have any internationals on that team that are currently playing for their international clubs. So you have most of that team still focusing on just training, working with the manager. So I usually find when we come back from an international break, we do start a little sluggish based on those kind of things. So that's gonna be a worry for me, especially because Brentford are gonna have so much. The players on top of the manager are gonna have so much more impetus going into this game than we are. Again, we're not gonna use it as an excuse, but it's something to think about when we see them out there tomorrow.
Yeah,
I hope that's not the case.
But this international break was different. We only played 2 games, I think. Some players only played like 1.
Yeah,
possibly, depending on what the importance was of the game. Kante didn't travel. Reece didn't travel. Cho didn't travel. Ruben didn't travel because you have to put Ruben now on the first team squad basis. You have to say that. Who else didn't travel? Well, ZH, but he's out. But yeah, I mean, you're right. They'll be fresh, everything like that. But you know, these Chelsea players have been playing for 2 or 3 times, 2-3 times in 7 days for like majority of their careers. Although it's been highly impacted on them the last couple of years due to COVID and everything. But I have no issue. My issue with Chelsea is that we don't have a lot of people in form attacking wise. That's my issue. So they could have had like 6 weeks rest. You know, they're still not in form, and that just worries me.
Exactly.
Which is why I think it'll be a closer game than what people think tomorrow. So,
although I must say our defenders they can't stop scoring this season, our defenders. So we've got some saving grace, but no, strikers, no way.
No, not at all.
Yeah, this is gonna this is purely for fun, and I'm just, the inner child in me is still talking. Anthony Taylor bingo. Comments as well. So basically, Andrew, I'm gonna ask you, choose either. So what's gonna happen? Either a disallowed goal or a red card for us, and what minute? And we're gonna see if any of those happen tomorrow. You guys in the comments as well. Leave an either disallowed goal or red card for which player, whatever, and a minute for a bit of an Anthony Taylor bingo session right now.
Yeah.
In the comments.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to say disallowed goal, Timo Werner, 35th minute. So something about that. It'll be somewhere where they're supposed to give more leeway for the offside, or something like. It'll be something weird. It'll be something like that. Disallowed goal because I can't think of a stupid reason for it to happen at the moment. But it'd be Werner. So Werner's like unlucky getting some of the disallowed goals he gets. So it'll be something like that.
Well, that's for sure. No, it's always Timo Werner. Man's gotten like 16 disallowed goals so far in his Premier League career, which is unreal. If you imagine even if half of those actually counted and what his goal tally would have looked like, how things would have changed for us.
No one would be on his back.
Exactly.
You think if he got those half goals, he'd be near to like last season, like 40 goals and assists overall in the season. So no one would be on his back then. Penalty
to Brentford in the 24th minute. Mendy will save it. Ooh, I would hope Mendy would save it. He doesn't have the greatest penalty saving records, but let's hope. Dubious red card, of course.
Yeah.
Timo going to score a deflection off of Anthony Taylor's. Oh my goodness! And then he'd have to blow the whistle to give a drop ball.
That'd be it. Where it'll be somewhere where the ball rolls under his foot, but it just skims his studs.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll say, "Oh no, that took such a deflection. It made the goalie was going to save it anyway," or something like that. It'll be something like that.
Even that one that just got disallowed against Southampton. I mean, a lot of his disallowed goals are offsides, and most of them are rightly so, or very tight.
Yeah.
But the one against Southampton, they went over 3 different things in the same VAR check. I was like, I actually thought they were looking at Lukaku maybe pushing the defender at first, and then it looked like they went to check if the ball went out, and then they went back to like, oh my goodness, we're not going to talk about that, but that was just the most ridiculous VAR check I've ever seen.
It'll be a foul on one of our players, but it'll go all the way back and give us the free kick. Do you know what I mean? It'll be like that. It'll be
comedy.
Like that. It'll be like something. It'll be so ridiculous that you go, "No, I had to do it." You didn't get
some random advantage.
Yeah. It's like, no, give us the ball. It'll be like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go bold. I know I said red card, but I'm gonna go bold. I'm just gonna say a last minute penalty, for what looks like quite simulated. And then Brentford would score and equalize. If that were,
and he still looks at the screen.
Exactly.
And even though they show him like four different angles and they all look like he's dived, he'll go, "There's not enough for me to turn it over. I've seen it," stuff like that.
No, not at all. That's bold of you to assume he would watch 4 different angles. He would watch one picture, one frame, and that's it.
Yeah. one second look, and then he's done.
Yeah. Anyways, quickly, as the usual, before I'm going to answer, we're going to go over a few questions from the comments. Thank you guys almost so much once again for tuning in and engaging. Quickly, as always, I got to go through a key battle between on one area of the pitch, 1 or 2 players between the 2 teams. So what is your key battle going into tomorrow?
It seems a bit obvious because of what I just said about not knowing much of the Brentford players. I'm going to say, I think it's Ivan Toney against Christensen.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. That's what I'm going
for. I think that's probably the most obvious one,
Yeah.
Probably arguably Brentford's best player, one of their really good striker, and they got a good partnership. You can even argue Christensen against both of them because as a straight partnership, they're not gonna be static. One of them's gonna be on Christensen, one's gonna be on Aspi. They're gonna move around, so it'll try to confuse our defenders. So it's gonna be on how can the defenders stay focused on both players.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I trust him. He's had a brilliant start to the season so far.
Yeah.
And I'm in full agreement there. But let's get on to some questions. I haven't gotten answered as many questions that I would like to in past episodes, so I'm glad to see a lot more today. But let's get going into it. Where are we at? Oh yeah. TJ and Winter Surfer, what is most likely going to change? Pulisic not getting injured or Barkley to stop getting drunk? Okay, this is a funny one.
I read something on Twitter that I can't remember whether it was like how many days he's been, like how many days, like somebody where Pulisic's been out for a long period of time, like 349. The last 800 and something days he's been injured for 340 something, and it's like that's like 40% of the time.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like I don't know with Pulisic now. It's like becoming a thing where it's like, how far as a club do you go? Do you give him? You obviously don't sell him in January. Do you give him the rest of the season? Go, how much did he contribute? And then do you decide next summer and go, as much talent as there is there, it's just too much. It's just too much injury for us, and we need players as much as great. Our thing is to get fit somewhere else and then start balling. Do you know what I mean? That's
exactly
the thing.
So,
bet. I think I think Pulisic is injured at the moment, so he's going to get injured probably again, isn't he? He's going to have a great comeback for 5 games and then get injured for
exactly.
Do you remember when they said it was going to be like? What did they say? 10 days when he saw him on his crutches.
Yeah, they said 10 days out, and it's been 36 days now, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure they obviously got days and weeks mixed up, didn't they? I'm sure they meant to say 10 weeks and looking like.
No,
that's what it
honestly,
looks like at the moment.
But it's strange, and it brings up like another question. It's like, what exactly? Like, we don't even know what kind of injury he has. I feel like all of his injuries are undisclosed.
Know, it was just on crutches or something. It was like, okay, well, what is it? Is it a thigh? Is it an ankle? Is it a knee?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Is it a sprain? Yeah, because I don't even know what he's out injured for. Like, I know he got injured on international duty, but I don't know what did he get injured? Was it ankle?
Exactly.
Was it something like that? It's just mad. It's frustrating because there's some that we know there's a player there. We saw it after lockdown when he came back. We know that's the player he can get to, and I think he'd be perfect for Lukaku. I really do. I think he'd work well with him. And it's just like, get on the pitch.
Exactly.
Yeah, so much so that now we're linked. I know it's probably not true. We're linked to buying Hazard back, and I'm thinking, why are we buying? And are we buying it for like a pal for Pulisic and physio or something like that? 34 million. I mean, you're just replacing one with the other. I mean, what's the point? It's just mad. Our wingers are just desperate.
It's honestly unreal. It's like that's the thing. If we knew that he had torn a ligament or broken his metatarsal or something, we understand. He's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. Like, we're not going to see him. But when we just see, he's going to be back in 10 days and then he's gone for this long, it's like, hey, what is going on behind the scenes? Or
do you remember Reece James when he got injured against Man City?
Yeah.
First of all, it was like they said, oh, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, and they said, oh, well, maybe 2 to 4 weeks, and they're all back under the international break. He's back.
Exactly.
He's back. It's like, but we knew what the injury was. Or it's like Pulisic. Yeah, we know he's out. What's the injury?
Oh, you bet. Another good question here. Do you guys, again, from C1 London, thank you so much for all the interactions as well today. Do you think Reece can develop a good relationship with Lukaku once he gets back onto the pitch? I 100% do think so. We saw it very early on in the season when they linked up against Arsenal. They linked up a couple times, and Reece James, he's a good crosser of the ball.
Yeah.
He knows how to find a player. Lukaku is a good reader of the game in terms of where to position himself. He's got a good header, as well as just making normal runs into the box for tap-ins. It's on paper, it's totally doable.
Well, I think Reece James, along with all the other people, players have got to start crossing it in more. And also, if you see Lukaku run, just try and get the ball to him. Stop this extra touch when he goes for the run, and then you then check back. So many times this season where he's gone for the run where the ball is on, and you can see them looking at him. It happened with Werner last season as well. You can see him looking at him, but they just don't do it. And it's like last season they were crossing it in, no problem. We didn't have a striker in there. This season they're not crossing it in at all, which is mad. But yeah, I think he should, because he's going to get a load more assists as well. I think he should do that. He's a great crosser of the ball, and
absolutely
he can get better as well.
And this brings me on to our next question, which is another really good question from Magic Mike. Thanks for joining us as always. One of the mainstays of this channel. How do we need to utilize Lukaku properly to play to his best strengths? I want to hear your thoughts first, and then I'm going to mention mine. I think we're probably going to have similar thoughts, though.
Well, my thing is to watch his runs. Actually, just he makes great runs, and just put the ball in there. Don't worry if you lose it. You are going to find him. If you're good enough and confident enough, you should be able to put the ball in instead of like passing it back. And then remember Aspilicueta against Southampton when he was like, just cross it in. It was set up for you to whip it in, and we know you can cross it in. We know you can cross it in. He was making a run. I don't even know if it's Lukaku. It might have been Lukaku and someone else, but there's 2 of them in there, and they could have got the ball, but didn't do it. Stuff like that. The game up at Anfield, Kante's got broken the ball. Kante's got the ball in midfield. Lukaku's run off both Van Dijk and Matip. It's got beyond them. Slip it in. He's probably going to score 2-0. Exactly. It's stuff like that. It's like better decision making.
Yes.
In the box. That's what it is. And also get closer to him.
Exactly.
Get closer to him as well. He'll hold up the ball. He might not hold it up all the time. But TJ, I don't know if you noticed this. Lukaku should be having 10 GNA at this moment in time. He should be on 6 assists this season as well.
You think so? Oh,
yeah. He should be. Lukaku should be on 6 assists this season. He's had he set up so many chances this season.
For sure.
He should be our top assist maker as well. So it's one of those. It's like you've got the striker. You know his quality. Just whip it in there. How come you're okay to whip it in there for Alvaro Morata? You know what I mean?
Or Timo even.
Or Timo, or even for Havertz like that. It's like just whip it in. Even if he doesn't score, it's going to probably bounce off him, and one of you guys will score. It's like one of those. Just trust him.
You bet.
He's earned it. He's earned it on the world stage. Just trust him.
He's a great runner. Like, he's amazing at making runs. He's perfected it.
Fantastic.
You saw for Timo Werner's goal that actually stood when Aspilicueta crossed the ball. Lukaku and Werner were in line with each other. Meaning, they were both making that run. If Timo Werner wasn't there, Lukaku would have put it in, 100%.
Yeah.
If Lukaku wasn't there, Timo was there and put it in. But for him to make that run, even though Timo was in front of him, like, it's just instinctual to him. That just shows, because a lot of players you saw he was a little bit discouraged that he didn't get the goal, but obviously happy for the team. But players, when they're behind another player and they get a cross, they wouldn't even make that run because they're like, oh, my teammate's going to get it. But no, he made it anyways, just in case. So it's instinctual in him.
So for Chilwell's goal, okay, he hit the post, and maybe he could have done better, but, he had a defender on him as well. But at least he's in there.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Then look what happened. Okay, then it fell to Aspilicueta. He hit the bar, but then it fell to Chilwell. Do you know what I mean? But something can happen. If you
it started from him making that run, and they just need to spot it.
If you put it in there, something may happen. Do you know what I mean? Instead of like going, oh yeah, Sierra, no, I'm going to stop, pass it backwards. That's the problem as well. We are very slow at build up. I think we were one of the worst counter-attacking teams.
Yeah.
If not in England, not in Europe, definitely in England.
Yeah.
I think we're one of the slowest. Our build-up is very, very slow.
That's true.
But that's the thing as well. Okay, people don't like it. You know, if Lukaku's on a run, it's okay to actually pass it long or hoof it up to see if he can go on with it or do a long pass on the floor. Just watch the runs and just do it because they're there. I mean, he's making the runs. This is what I want to say. I'm tired of projects now, TJ. I'm tired of waiting for someone to explode. This is Lukaku's prime, and if we're not careful, we're going to waste Lukaku's prime. Do you know what I mean? We're going to waste it at all. That's what's going to. If we don't win the league, what's going to cost us is we are not creative enough. That's what's going to cost us this league.
And ultimately, it just makes you think, what do we need to do next summer? So, food for thought for another time.
Listen. We've done the youth project. We've got loads of youth in our squad. Mm-hmm. Unless they're an outstanding youth talent that everyone around the world wants, and they're doing it, they're putting up the numbers fine. But I want proven, skilled players. I want hard workers. I want physical specimens. I want to go back to Ancelotti. I want a mixture. I want Ancelotti, first Mourinho, that sort of thing. Like a Hazard, because Hazard was a tough little bugger on that wing. You couldn't knock him off the ball. No. You want players like that. I want players like that who can just produce out of nothing.
And we are that one player away from doing it now because we have a complete squad besides that.
That's what I mean. Mm-hmm. If Pulisic wasn't injury prone, he'd probably be it.
Mm-hmm. You bet. What could have been? It's all that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We waste. You know what? As great as Hazard was for us, we didn't support Hazard enough and get him better. He could have gone on levels himself while he was with us. We didn't surround him with the best.
And that was the thing. We had that one player who could do it on a bad day for the team, but we had a terrible team. But now we have a great team who just lacks that one player who can pull us out of a bad day.
Exactly right. And we don't have a Lampard anymore who can just come up from midfield and hit a winner in the 95th minute. We don't have that.
From 35 yards out.
Exactly. We don't have that. And I know I'm standing older going, go back to the glory days. But that's a blueprint that worked. Yeah. And I think a mixture of that can still work in this league.
Absolutely.
We've seen it. City do it. And they haven't got a striker. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
Exactly. They create enough chances, and that's ultimately what it is.
If Mo Salah was in this team, good Lord, would he score a bunch of goals in this team? Mm-hmm. He would score a lot in this team, but anyway.
Quickly, one more question before we wrap up the show. Speaking of creativity, what do you think of Saint Maximin or Rafinha, and would you swap them for Ziyech? For me, the swapping of Ziyech part, absolutely. I love the guy, and creatively when he makes long passes, he's one of the best in the business. But the problem is the guy can't do the simple stuff beforehand to lead up to that. So if he can't do that, we don't have a place for him in the team. Rafinha, to me, does pop out as one player who has looked really good for Leeds past couple of seasons. Saint Maximin as well, really fun player to watch, really interesting, creative player, but his attitude problems for me would never, just knowing Tuchel would never sit well with him.
I'm going to cheat because I've got an alternative, and it's unfortunate because I think he's coming back from injury, but I want to see what Pedro Neto does at Wolves.
Yeah, that's another one.
I know he's young, and I'm like, don't want youngsters, but he was actually producing for Wolves before he hurt his knee.
For sure.
Last season, on the right or on the left. He was doing well. Rafinha, the thing I want to see Rafinha under a different coach because I don't like Bielsa. I think he's very overhyped in my mind.
Yeah.
Because I think he can, attacking he's very stubborn as well. Attacking no problem. Defensively he doesn't do well. And St. Maximin, do you know what? He needs to be consistent. He's just not consistent through playing and injuries as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'd swap any of them for Ziyech. That goes without saying.
Yeah. I think on that note, it's a good place to wrap up. That was a really full show. Really good way to come back after the international break. We're all hyped for the game tomorrow now. Score predictions quickly before we sign off, Andrew.
2-0, but it's not a dominating 2-0.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
It's like score early and then maybe hang on a bit and then hit them on the break. Sort of
yeah.
Sort of.
I'm going to go 2-1. I'd say we start really well, and then second half we're going to struggle a lot.
I can see that. See that. Even the best of our Chelsea teams did that against promoted
of course.
Sides.
It happens to the best of us.
Exactly.
But as well against Liverpool we've seen this season. But yeah.
Well, yeah. 3 times.
There you go. It has been a pleasure to host once again. Andrew, thanks for coming on. Everyone in the comments, thank you guys for joining us. As always, brilliant interactions today. Thank you guys so much. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel as always. Tell your friends about us. And Andrew, anything else to say? Quick plug before we get going.
We are still part of Never a Foul, just in case anyone's wondering.
Yes.
Why it's popped up. We're still part of Never a Foul. Don't worry, we're still part of that. It's just that more of us stuff you can find on here when we're finished. But we're still part of Never a Foul. Mm-hmm. Follow me on Twitter. I'll twin out what I got there. We've got a pinned tweet to the Blue Wave. I think we're near 70 subscribers already.
Yeah.
I'll be back Monday. We'll be back for a review, but I don't know if we're going to do a review Monday or a Champions League preview or one of the top 10 Roman shows. I'll speak to the guys tomorrow about that, what we're going to do. But hopefully whenever you see us next, we did a review. We are celebrating, and Anthony Taylor hasn't done sweet FA to us. So,
it'll be the biggest win of the season.
It will. Yeah.
Once again, you guys, it's been a pleasure hosting. Andrew, you've been a really, really good guest. I've had a really fun time today.
Pleasure. Thanks for inviting me. I really enjoyed it.
You guys all know where to find me. And like we said, we're still with Nether a Foul. I think all the channels are just kind of doing their own little sub channels just to help expand a little bit more. But you can find me on Twitter at TheRealFootballTJ. I'm here every Friday at 8 p.m. for Premier League weekend kickoffs. So you guys can probably see me next weekend, Friday, 8 p.m. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you guys for tuning in.